an external conflict, and one of the challenging parts is to have the internal conflict, because now you are operating with people from anger, you operate with people from lack of self-esteem, you operate with people from lack of commitment, because this is, you know, deep in yourself, this is not you. You know that this relationship is not bringing the you to the plate. You know that this engagement is not bringing you the best out of you. So self-awareness is about being aware of your emotions, your feelings, and how you run your own life. Self-awareness just means a massive awareness about yourself, because we understand that we cannot win any external battles until we win internal battles, and that's where it starts. So most people, they find themselves having to go again in a vicious cycle in a relationship, cheating, having to go in a vicious cycle, abusive relationships, because they are not aware, and even the abuser is not aware of the pain that they cause. It's so scary that it will take counseling for someone to acknowledge, I've been abusive for the past 3 years. And now you realize that most people don't just switch off, the noise from the outside. And the noise here means simply the affirmation that they get from the environment. And now when you are not able to switch off that noise, now you operate from this borrowed identity where you are abusive, you don't show up, you don't give your best. So it's very, very, very important that we understand ourselves more than we understand our surroundings. And today we're just going to show you how do you do that in creating that. So you can read our thought of the day today, Zandile, and then we explain much more on that by Jay Shetty.
All right, the thought of the day says you don't know what you need in life until you figure out who you are.
Yeah, this is a very, very important element, especially in relationships. Until you find that people say, we grew apart. What they mean is that along the way you know who you are. You understand now who you are. You realize this is not something that I thought I want. You realize this is not the person that I want to become. I feel boxed in. I feel like a caged bird, because this person, although they met me when I was 20, now I am 25, my priorities have changed. My values have changed. And now when you say you don't want the relationship, people say, no, you have been with the person, now you are leaving the person. It's now you choosing yourself, realizing that this job, this business is not who I am. When I started, I was doing something else 10 years ago. And what I'm doing today is different. And it is going to continue to change over time, because I figure out who I am. And I'm going to do things differently now as I grow up 30 years later. And now the person who is with me realize, I never knew you are this kind of person. It's either they are going to appreciate it or not appreciate it. But at the end of the day, the hard conversation has to be had. Do we continue with this thing? So most relationships are stuck in that bubble, and that is the major cause. We thought we grew apart, and people never explain it further. Is that now I understand who I am. I am now aware of certain information. I am now aware of certain experiences. That is why now I am choosing not to be in this job. This is why I am choosing not to be in this relationship. This is why I'm choosing not to have a conversation with so-and-so anymore. This is why I'm not hanging out with you anymore. My values now, I've rearranged my values. Now I am in alignment. Although we don't talk much, I still have my peace. I am not bitter. That's why people think, okay, when someone leaves now, they're going to struggle. It's not the truth. When people figure out their alignment, this is self-awareness. Now they step in a zone where there is peace. And sometimes lack of peace in our jobs, relationships, and any other association comes from us knowing I am not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not in alignment with the things I want. My feelings are not in alignment with my words. Even though I tell this person I love you every day, my heart is not here. So this is what self-awareness brings. It brings that awareness of the self. Right. We can go to our first point of the day.
Okay, first point says seek out new experiences.
Yeah. What have experiences done to you, Zandile? Have you ever been in a situation, maybe jobs, maybe school, and now you realize, okay, I love my school, until you go to some sports thing, and you realize, no, I don't like my school anymore. So this is what it does. Maybe you have any other experience where you are hanging with certain people, and now you start traveling, you start meeting new people who think differently. You realize, oh my God, I'm missing out of life. This is what friendship can look like. Now, we never knew how much we can go until we have to go that much. We never knew that we really love beef until we realize, no, we were eating beef growing up because we didn't have money for chicken. So self-awareness is about now realizing, although I say I like this, the question, Zandile, is, do you really like reading, or you are just finding yourself in an environment that forces you to read? Do you really like this store, this restaurant? Really like it? Do you really like it? Or you just find yourself going there because your spouse, your loved one gets you there all the time? It reminds you of something. Until you taste a new restaurant, never say this is the best restaurant. So this is what self-awareness does to us. Until we say, I know how to control my emotions, and we are put in a state where we really need to control our emotions. That's when we realize, I'm not able to control my emotions and I need help. Until you say, I can never cheat, and you find yourself cheating, you realize that there is more about yourself you never knew. So self-awareness is about set out new experiences, meet new people, meet new adventures, experiment with your life. Go out there and find out what can work and what may not work. You may say this business model is working until you meet a coach who helps you to restructure your model. I remember in 2019 when I met Mr. Luis Allegra in the US, and he helped me to remodel prime coaching to where it is today. I used to look at myself as a motivational speaker, not a research-based person, not a transformational coach, not an executive, the skills to do executive coaching. But until I met this person, I started realizing there is more to Mompoloki Makwana than just speaking. And then that's where the transformation comes in. My question today is, have you experienced enough different adventures that put you in a state that says, I really know what I like? Or you are just following what people like? Or you are just following the crowd? You don't want to break out of the norm, because this is what we always eat in the evening. It can change, and self-awareness about that.
All right. It leads us to this one. It says, ask people for feedback about yourself.
That's a very powerful one, because sometimes we think, we are what we think people think we are, until we get the feedback from them and it's different from what we have in our head. When I do executive coaching one-on-ones on group sessions, there's a statement which says, who are you, right? I give people different kind of pieces, and they write about different people. They don't write their names. People are amazed of what people say about themselves, because we never switch off the thoughts that says, I'm a good husband, I'm a good mother, until your kid tells you something else, right? So we need to listen to people around us and really give them a fair chance to share what they feel. What do you think? The question may be, what do you think I can improve right now in this relationship that can help us to go forward? You'll be amazed how many things people have to jot down that you have to improve. And you're like, why have you not been asking this? But the thing is, you have to give a permission to the person to say, I want the feedback. As I continue to share about this, as my business does this, as I do this with communication in our relationship, what do you think I can do better so that this can be a fulfilling relationship for both of us? We never give people the chance to share the feedback with us, but feedback is what helps us to get back up online. And every single day, when we are able, on a weekly basis, on a quarterly basis, being able to tune out, get someone for coffee and say, you know what, I've been doing this project. What do you think is really taxing for me to be able to raise my kids well, to be able to improve things here in my relationship? You can look at an expert, or you can look at a close, loyal friend. Ask these questions so that they give you feedback. Even at your job, it's fine to send an email today. That's a task and assignment for you. It's fine to send an email and say, I know I've been working with you for 5 years, but what do you think I can really improve, to professionally improve the way I do things, and be aligned with the organizational mission? You'll be amazed how people are willing to show you where you can improve. And that's what we need. And now you are becoming what? You're becoming more aware of yourself, more aware of your skill set, more aware of your talents. That's where it starts.
All right. Let's go to the third point. The third point says, identify what triggers your negative emotions.
Yeah, most of the things when you talk about self-awareness, mostly when I teach it for corporates, I align it to emotional intelligence, because most people are not aware that they get angry not because of situations, but because of the triggers that is embedded in them. It's not like you don't like men, or you don't like women, or you don't like certain smell, or you don't like a certain thing. is because it has been programmed in you in a certain way that when you see that thing, it triggers that. So, most of the time, we find ourselves having anger issues, short-temperedness. And this comes from not being able to find out what really pisses me off. Is it this conversation that is pissing me off, Zandile? Or is because this conversation reminds me of a conversation I had with my mom or my father? And when we are able to trace back our emotions, now we know our buttons. They have figured out your triggers. Why would someone be so aware of the ways they can use you to make you angry for the past 10 years and you are not aware to say, this is what makes me angry. This is what I need to be aware of. Therefore, the next time they say this, I'm not going to cry. You know, someone can make you cry for the next 20 years because they know something. When they say something, they know you'll cry. When they talk to you, Zandi, and they start talking about your daughter, they know where they're going to touch you. Now, you must be prepared and work on yourself and say, how do I protect myself from this? How do I work on my shock absorption? How am I able to control my feelings when it comes to this particular issue? And once you are able to deal with that, you are able to curb the things people use to abuse you, the things people use to trigger you. So self-awareness is about moving from just living and say, no, I know myself, but being able to really take time off and understand what moves me, what makes me happy. Why am I always excited